Thank you very much. Safety net hospitals across this state are on life support while lawmakers grapple with a budget that threatens to decimate public health care in Louisiana. This morning, the University Medical Center in New Orleans kicked off their hashtag UMC is Vital campaign. Doctors, nurses, and health professionals got together at UMC to urge lawmakers in Baton Rouge to fully fund hospitals and health care during their current special session at the state capitol. Temporary sales taxes are set to expire on July 1st, the start of the new state budget year. The governor is asking lawmakers to renew a portion of those taxes to help offset an estimated almost $650 million budget gap. UMC's chief officer, Bill Masterson, admits that a lot of bad things could happen under some budget scenarios, including the hospital closing its doors.
We're vital for health care. Simply put, our doctors save lives. We're one of the only ACS Level 1 accredited trauma centers with a licensed burn center on the Gulf Coast.
The difference in care that we can provide to our patients at the trauma center distinguishes who lives and who may not live.
This morning, a House Legislative Committee was set to begin discussions on budget options. One proposal by West Jefferson State Representative Pat Connick would renew and make permanent half of those temporary sales taxes to try and stave off deep cuts to health care and higher education.